Ever since I was little, I love the lake. We grew up out in rural Woodburn, on the Maumee, which unless you like a lot of leeches on you, it's not a great thing to swim in. And so twice a year, we'd come up to Adams Lake, one. We had some friends who stayed there, and also Lake Wawasee. And I just fell in love with the lake. I've lived by the ocean. I've, swam in the ocean. I'm just not an ocean guy. With the lake, ever since I was a kid, I just loved driving up north of Fort Wayne and through these, small roads and trees winding around, and you get a glimpse of the water, and you drive a little more, and riding the boat around. In the lake you can swim, you can fish, you can tube, you can ski. It's just endless fun, as a kid. And so ever since I was little, I was like, someday I'd like to have a cottage on the lake. So finally, once I could afford one, we started looking around about 7 years ago now. And at first we're like, I want something small. So we looked at a bunch of small lakes, Lime Lake, Otter, and some other things. And I went up to Coldwater Lake, big lake up there in Michigan. And someone said, what, if you're going to be on a lake, you should try the chain of lakes there, Lake James and Jimerson and Snow. And I said, well, okay. So we drove around and looked, and I happened to recall a friend of mine lived back here on Lone Tree Point back in high school, and we had visited. So what's that road? I said, you have to go back by the park, but you don't go in the park. And he's like, oh yeah, Lone Tree. So we had a realtor come back here, and there weren't any homes for sale, but there was a buddy of his who had this property. It was a cottage. And he said, I said, can I just walk down your buddy's property because I'd like to see it, see what the water's like. And so we went down there on the deck, and the sun was going down on Lake James. We have the sunset every night here. And I saw all the sand underneath the water, sandy shore there, and I saw the drop off wasn't for about 30 feet, so a beautiful swimming area. I saw the big second basin, and I just turned and I said, call your buddy and ask if he'll sell it. It wasn't for sale. And so we called him, figured a price, and I bought it right then and there, having seen it one time. My wife hadn't even seen the property. And so I called Sarah and said, I'm coming back, we just got a lake cottage. And so pretty much we came up for 2 years, but during that 2-year period, the Saturday and Sunday turned into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Turned into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Turned into Thursday through Monday. And I said, because we lived in the DuPont area of Fort Wayne, I said, Sarah, this is ridiculous. We have 2 houses, 45 minutes apart to ourselves. We spend all our time at the lake because we love the park, we love this. We have friends and family who already live up in this area. And I said, I know you like one house. I said, let's move up there. Well, we had a little problem with the cottage. There was some infestation of some vermin, and so that didn't treat my wife very well. So she said, well, I'll move up there, but we got to build a house. So sure enough, we tore it down, built the house we're sitting in right now, sold our house in Fort Wayne, and the rest is history, and fell in absolute love with Angola. The people, the schools, our kids have done wonderfully up here. I wake up to one of the most beautiful scenes every morning. I have my coffee and one of the most beautiful sunsets every night here on Lone Tree Point, and I just couldn't be happier as far as being an Angolian, an Angoliite. I'm not sure what the correct term would be, but on living here on LTP. I went back to serve when we have 14 points, okay. And I say to myself that, okay, this is my last serve of my career. So I was like, let's finish with an ace. Okay. And it happened. So it's a good symbol of the wonderful career that I have had. People really are concerned about me, to be honest with you, my family, my sisters, during the Olympics. They were calling me all the time to make sure I was okay, and they're all worried I'm going to melt down, and what are you going to do next? I mean, that's the question everybody asks, of course. Any ex-athlete, they're like, well, what are you going to do next? And like any other ex-athlete, we give them a list of things that are common. Oh, I'm going to coach, or oh, I got a small business. But in the end, we really don't know. Because in the end, nothing is going to be the same as playing in front of thousands of people. It's something you love to do and get paid for it. It's not that meaning your life is over or anything, but it just means you're going to have to switch gears. Luckily, we've been afforded, that I can still train and work out because that's important to me. But it also affords me now the time not to make up lost time with my kids, because I was lucky enough they traveled with me a bunch, but I never got to coach the baseball team or the AU basketball team or the 5th grade tackle team football like I'm doing right now. I mean, I am loving it. I don't know if my son's loving it or not, but I love being involved, and I love, went to school the other day and had lunch with my daughter. I love the freedom of stopping at the local radio station and talking a little bit. I love the fact that you and I can sit down here and talk right now. I'm never going to be a 9-to-5 guy. I mean, it's just not the way it's going to happen, but for sure, with all my interests, whether it do some broadcasting for local sports, or whether it be, coaching, or whether it be volunteering at the school, or, whether it be, this campaign I'm doing now for the Steuben County Literacy Coalition to help them in fundraising. There's always going to be opportunities for me to make an impact here in the community. And it's amazing how quickly that fills up your calendar, actually. So I'm not worried about not being busy. If the economy starts to crash and our portfolio manager says I need to go get a job, then hopefully someone will hire me to do something. But I'm not worried about it.
Said the ball, Lloy ball, he's a team player, and he's gonna help you, he's gotta get his ball on. Said the ball, Lloy ball, he's a team player, and he's gonna help you, he's gotta get his ball on.
Say Lloy, you say ball.
Terrific
Lloy.
positioning from Lloy ball.
When I say Lloy, you say ball. Lloy. When I say Lloy, you say ball. Lloy. When I say Lloy, you say ball. Lloy.
Lloy ball.
Do what we came to do here, and that's play great volleyball and represent our country and try to win a gold medal. Give a total effort every time you step on the court in honor of your country. The United States setter Lloy Ball.
Lloy ball. Lloy ball back to serve for the United States, playing with a very sore left calf, injury that was plaguing him coming into this tournament, and then left him a little bit against Venezuela. I know you had a chance to speak with Lloy before the match here tonight. Give us an update on his condition.
Lloy said his calf feels better than it did in the previous match against Italy. It's still not perfect, but in his opinion, it's fine enough to play. He's been using a lot of ice, a lot of stim, and a new shock therapy, attempting to get that thing better over the last 48 hours. He's going to resort to voodoo medicine if necessary. He'll try anything because this is the Olympic Games.
Lloy ball, a big blocking center at 6'8". Nice aggressive play by Lloy ball. Lloy ball. Beautiful choice by ball. Tip to the floor very nicely to Lloy ball. Lloy ball is ready to transition